A young man entered a fancy restaurant for the first time in his life, wearing an old shirt and shoes with worn soles. As he sat at a table, he nervously looked around, trying to figure out how to use the silverware. When the waiter brought his glass of water, his hands trembled and he accidentally spilled it on the table. The man sitting across from him gave him a disgusted look and whispered loudly, "People like this shouldn't come here if they don't know how to behave." A couple at the next table laughed, shaking their heads in mockery. The young man's face burned with shame, but he quietly ordered a small plate of food. When the meal arrived, he picked up the wrong fork and dropped it to the floor, causing more laughter from nearby diners. Just then, an elderly gentleman dressed in a fine suit stood up from across the room and walked toward him. Everyone watched in silence as the gentleman sat next to the nervous young man. With a warm smile, the elderly man said, "This reminds me of my first time here. I didn't know which fork to use either." The young man looked up, surprised, as the gentleman calmly showed him how to use the silverware. Instead of mocking, the gentleman made it a lesson in kindness. The room grew silent, shame washing over those who had laughed earlier. The young man's eyes filled with tears as he whispered, "Thank you, sir. You didn't have to do this." The elderly gentleman patted his shoulder and replied, "The world doesn't need more critics. It needs more encouragers." That night, many people left the restaurant not remembering the food, but remembering the power of compassion. Drop a flower if you believe kindness can turn someone's worst moment into their best memory.